A pleasant day to everyone. My name is Gumunay Janilu with my group mates Hadap, Michael Jan, Laduros, Harold, and Langilaw Albert. And we will be discussing the chapter 5, Effective Learning Competencies. Chapter Intended Learning Outcome. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to craft effective learning outcome for the different levels in the affective domain. Okay, what is affect? It describes a number of non-cognitive variables such as a person's attitude, interests, and values. According to William James Popham, 2003, the reason why it is important to assess affect are: first, educators should be interested in assessing affective variables because these variables are excellent predictors of students' future behavior. So it is important to assess the affective variable so that we will know the future behaviors of our children. Then, second, teachers should assess affect to remind themselves that there's more to being a successful teacher than helping students obtain high score on achievement tests. So as teachers, it is our duty to know the affective variables of our children in order to improve or enhance their interests, values, and attitude, because we don't only focus on the cognitive development of our children but also the affective domain. The third one is information regarding students' affect can help teachers teach more effectively on a day-to-day basis. So, upon assessing the affective variable of our learners, it will also help us to know their strengths, their values, interests, which will influence us to become more effective educators. Importance of affective targets. Students are more proficient in problem solving if they enjoy what they do. So basically, if the students are enjoying what they are doing, they will participate more in the class discussion and they will become more productive. A more positive environment fosters good student engagement and learning than in a classroom with negative climate, according to Foster 1994. So it is important to have a positive environment such as having a good communication or relationship with our students so that they will be encouraged to or motivated to participate in the class than having a negative climate or negative environment such as inequality, favoritism, which will affect the students' learning. And the last one is motivation and involvement of students in learning activities are affected by students' attitude toward learning, respect for others, and concern for others. Why most teachers do not utilize any kind of formal affective assessment? It is because of these following reasons. First, school routine are organized based on subject areas, and assessment of affective target is fraught with difficulties, according to Macmillan 2007. Cognitive subject matter targets agreed on as desirable for all students. This places affect in a position of importance but still secondary to cognitive learning. It also makes difficult to determine which affective targets are appropriate for all students. It is simply not easy to determine attitudes, values, and interests. The second possible reason is that many potential reasons of error in measuring affective traits often result in low reliability. Motivation is of primary concern. Students need to take such assessment seriously to provide accurate result, but still many may restrain from giving honest answer if the responses are not treated with anonymity and confidentiality. Positive affective traits and skills are essential for the following: effective learning, being an involved and productive member of our society, preparing for occupational and vocational satisfaction and productivity. Examples: work habits, willingness to learn, interpersonal skills. Maximizing the motivation to learn at present and in the future, and preventing students from dropping out of school. Affective traits and learning targets. The word affective refers to a variety of traits and dispositions that are different from knowledge, reasoning, and skills, according to Holm 1995. Technically, this term means the emotion or feelings that one has toward someone or something. Nevertheless, attitudes, values, self-concept, citizenship, and other traits are usually considered to be non-cognitive, include more than emotions or feelings. There are different affective traits. The attitudes, which is the predisposition to respond favorably or unfavorably to specified situations, concepts, objects, institutions, or persons. Next is interests. It is personal preference for certain kinds of activities. Next is values. It is importance, worth, or usefulness of modes or conduct and end states of existence. Next is opinions. It is beliefs about specific occurrence and situations. Next is preferences. It is the desire to select one object over another. Next is motivation. It is the desire and willingness to be engaged in behavior, including intensity of involvement. Next is academic self-concept. It is self-perception of competence in school and learning. Next is self-esteem. It is attitudes towards oneself, degree of self-respect, worthiness, or desirability of self-concept. Next is locus of control. This is the self-perception of whether success and failure is controlled by students or by external influence. Next is emotional development. It is growth, change, and awareness of emotions and ability to regulate emotional expression. Next is social relationship. It is nature of interpersonal interaction and functioning in group setting. Next is altruism. It is willingness and propensity to help others. Next is moral development. It is attainment of ethical principles that guide decision making and behavior. And the last one is classroom development. It is nature of feeling, tones, and interpersonal relationship in class. And now, let us proceed to the learning targets, which are: first, the attitude targets; second, values targets; third, motivation targets; fourth, academic self-concept targets; fifth, social relationship targets; and sixth, classroom environment targets. First is attitude targets. Macmillan 1980 defines attitudes as internal states that influence what students are likely to do. The internal state can in some degree determine positive or negative or favorable or unfavorable reaction toward an object, situation, person, or group of objects, general environment, or group of persons. It does not refer to behaviors, what student knows right or wrong in a moral or ethical issue, ethical sense, or characteristics such as race, age, or socioeconomic status. In learning institution, attitude is contingent on subjects, teachers, other students, homework, and other objects or persons. Most often, one can identify the positive or negative attitudes that a person intends to foster or at least keep track of because these attitudes are related to current and future behavior. Some of these attitudes are listed on the table below. A positive attitude toward learning, math, science, English, and other subjects, assignments, classroom rules, teachers. A negative attitude toward cheating, drug use, bullying, cutting classes, and dropping out. There are three components of attitudes. First is affective component. It consists of the emotion or feeling associated with an object or a person. When the teacher describes students as liking math or enjoying art, the teacher is focusing on the affective component. Second is the cognitive component. It is an evaluative belief such as thinking something or valuably useful, worthless, and etc. For example, in school, students can think history is useless and science as valuable. The third one is behavioral component. It is actually responding in a positive way. A strong and stable attitude is manifested when all three components are consistent.
Good day everyone. My topics are all about values and motivation. First, I will discuss all about the values targets. Values targets refer either to end states of existence or to modes of conduct that are desirable or suit according to Coleridge 1973. End states of existence refer to conditions and aspects of oneself and the kind of world that a person wants, such as safe life, world peace, freedom, happiness, social acceptance, and wisdom. So, values are characteristics or traits that a person holds in high importance. These include principles that one considers to be right and consequently which guides the person's future actions and decisions. In school setting, values that are included in the curriculum are honesty, patience, perseverance, respect for others, cleanliness and order, careful for environment, and etc. So on the next topic is all about motivation targets. According to Macmillan 2007, in education, motivation can be defined as the extent to which students are involved in trying to learn. This includes the student's initiation of learning, the intensity of effort exerted, the student's commitment, and the student's persistence. So according to on my research, according to Brown 1987, motivation is an inner drive, impulse, emotion, or desire that moves one to a particular action. So for me, motivation may arouses and sustains behavior, and it can lead to increased effort and energy to pursue a goal. If a learner is highly motivated, he or she is willing to give his or her time and effort to reach a goal, and it brings a learner to excitement and enjoyment to an academic task, and it enhances cognitive processing and improves learning.
Okay, so good day everyone. So in the continuation of the report, my part is all about the academic self-concept and the social relationship target. Okay, so academic self-concept is the way students describe themselves as a learner. So most educators refers this characteristic when dealing with the students who have a certain problem with their schools and learning. So example, the low self-concept where perception of the students their viewpoint of themselves are very low. That's the negative effect na it affects their academic achievements. So and also students who have a low self-esteem This is the common problem that the students are facing today's generation, especially the elementary pupils. Okay, they are still in the process of their learning experiences na kinahanglan pa i-improve with the guidance of the teacher, our parents. So we as elementary teacher, kinahanglan ta mag-set of targets para sa ato mga students on what are the ways on how we can help our students to build their self-concept and self-esteem. Especially karon nga we are in 21st century where technology surrounds us. Ang mga bata is dali ra impluwensyahan sa mga dili maayo, like dali ra sila mapiktuhan sa ilaang mga actions, observations and feedback to their peers. And importante pod nga kita nga mga teachers kay we should be a researcher to our students in terms of their conditions in life, and we should be very sensitive kabalo ta mga basta mga elementary students daghan taog kinahanglan nga i-considered sa ilaa, especially their attitudes and behaviors. So, in setting target, it is helpful to remember that self-concept and self-esteem are multidimensional. When we say self-esteem, it is how students feel about themselves. They judge themselves kung unsa ila ang pagbati sa ilang kaugalingon, like the confidence they have. Especially elementary gyud, kinahanglan gyud ta mag-considerate in all aspects ato ang mga pupils po kay dili pa ina naka-fully develop ilang point of view sa ilang kaugalingon. And self-concept, it is how a student viewpoint or how they see themselves in terms of their academic achievement and performance. So, self-concept and self-esteem are multidimensional according to Marsh and Craven in 1997. Both are multidimensional. It is best to avoid the general measures to both self-concept and self-esteem. Maong we need to set targets on what are the things that we expected to the set of targets at the end of our lesson. So let us now proceed to the social relationship target. So it is referred to a complex set of interaction skills including identification of and appropriate responses to social indication. The nature of a social relationship that can be used as a target. So first, we have the peer relations, cooperations, taking stands, functioning in a group, pro-social behavior, friendship, collaboration, conflict resolutions, assertive empathy. These are the behaviors that are intended to help others. So it will be very helpful in setting targets, especially in social relationship. So they are mostly relevant in basic education, especially in the elementary level, as the social traits are needed skills academic achievement. But in secondary level, these mga traits are very beneficial, especially in enhancing their interpersonal abilities and more importantly in their school works with their businesses, community, to assess their needs. So as their preparation to equip their skills, abilities that is necessary to be enhanced, developed to as their preparation to their workplace as soon. So this would be the preparation for the secondary level. So according to Burich and Tambori 2004, social interaction is the key element of knowledge, construction, active learning, and deep understanding. So as long as there is interaction happen, students need to make more necessary adjustment in their actions and their thinking skills, especially in accommodating others' viewpoints. That's why this require deal deal understanding kay wala man nakapulos focus ako sa lang ka-idea kung moingon ta og interactions. That's why students need to adjust to the ideas of their companions, especially in their opinions, actions, and ideas. So by that, it really helpful to our dear pupils and students to in enhancing their reasoning skills and problem solving skills through observational and engagement in such activities. So presented the table in your screen are some examples of social relationship areas and corresponding targets. So we have here the social relationship, target concerns, and examples. So in social relationship, first is peer relationship. So the target concern of the peer relationship are the following: showing interest in others, listening to peers, sharing to a group, contributing to the group to a group activities. And the example of this is that student will share the ideas in a small discussion. So the second one is cooperative skills. The target concern in cooperative skills are the following: sharing, listening, volunteering ideas and suggestions, supporting and accepting others, ideas, taking turns, criticizing constructively. So here are one of the examples of uh, co- cooperative skills. Students will demonstrate that they are able to negotiate with others and compromise. So kung may tawag cooperative skills, so it deals on more on sharing, listening, and functioning to groups. A general target regarding improve social relationship or improve collaboration skills does not provide specific to focus instructional and assessment.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Albert Langilaw of PAED 3A. My topic is all about classroom environment targets. In every classroom, there is a unique climate that is felt at every point in time. Some manifest a comfortable atmosphere, others have relaxed and productive ambience. As a result, there are classes that are happy and content, while others are serious and tense due to the effect of the classroom climate. It follows that students behave differently as dictated also by the classroom climate. Some shows warm and supportive class while others register as cold and rejecting. There are 9 characteristics with descriptions. First, affiliation. The extent to which students like and accept each other. Second, involvement. Description. The extent to which students are interested in and engage in learning. Third, task orientation. Description. The extent to which classroom activities are focused on the completion of academic tasks. Fourth, cohesiveness. Descriptions. The extent to which students share norms and expectation. Fifth, favoritism. Description. Whether each student enjoys the same privilege. 6. Friction. Description. The extent to which students bicker with one another. 7. Formality. Description. The emphasis on imposing roles. 8. Communication. Descriptions. The extent to which communication among students and with teacher is honest and authentic. Last one, warmth. Description. The extent to which students care about each other and show concern. Let's proceed with the affective domain of the taxonomy of education. In 1964, David R. Cratwell, together with his colleagues, extended Bloom's taxonomy of education objectives by publishing the second taxonomy of objectives. This time, giving emphasis on the affective domain. Crathwell and his collaborators attempted to subdivide the affective realm into relatively distinct divisions. Here are the 5 affective domain of the taxonomy of education. First is receiving. Receiving refers to the student's willingness to attend to particular phenomena or stimuli, classroom activities, textbook, music, and etc. From a teaching standpoint, it is concerned with getting, holding, and directing the student's attention. Learning outcomes in this area range from the simple awareness that a thing exists to selective attention on the part of the learner. Receiving represents the lowest level of learning outcomes in the affective domain. Example, learning outcomes. The pupil listens attentively to teacher, shows awareness of the importance of learnings, attends closely to the classroom activities. Second, responding. Responding refers to active participation on the part of the student. At this level, he not only attends to a particular phenomenon but also reacts to it in some way. Learning outcomes in this area may emphasize acquiescence in responding. So reads beyond assignments or satisfaction in responding. Or reads for pleasure or enjoyment. The higher levels of this category includes those instructional objectives that are commonly classified under interest. That is, those that stress the seeking out and enjoyment of particular activities. Example, learning outcomes. The pupil responds to the teacher's question, participates in a group discussion, gives a presentation, complies with procedures or follows directions. Third, valuing. Valuing is concerned with the worth or value a student attaches to a particular object, phenomenon, or behavior. This ranges in degree from the simpler acceptance of a value, desires to improve group skills, to the more complex level of commitment, assumes responsibility for the effective functioning of the group. Valuing is based on the internalization of a set of specified values, but close to these values are expressed in the student's overt behavior that is consistent and stable enough to make the value clearly identifiable. Instructional objectives that are commonly classified under attitudes and appreciation would fall into this category. Example, learning outcomes. The pupil demonstrates problem-solving attitude, appreciates good literature, supports ideas to improve efficiency. Fourth, organizing. Organizing is concerned with bringing together values, resolving conflicts between them, and beginning the building of an internally consistent value system. Thus, the emphasis is on comparing, relating, and synthesizing values. Learning outcomes may be concerned with the conceptualization of a value, recognizes the responsibility of each individual for improving human relations, or with the organization of a value system, develops a vocational plan that satisfied his need for both economic security and social service. Instructional objectives relating the last one or the fifth one, characterization by value or value set. At characterization level of the affective domain, the individual has a value system that has controlled his behavior for a sufficiently long time for him to develop a characteristic lifestyle. Thus, the behavior is pervasive, consistent, and predictable. Learning outcomes at this level cover a broad range of activities, but the major emphasis is on the fact that the behavior is typical or characteristic of the student. Instructional objectives that are concerned with the student's general patterns of adjustment, personal, social, and emotional, would be appropriate here. Example learning outcomes. The pupils shows self-reliance when working independently, cooperates in a group activities, displays teamwork, uses an objective approach in problem solving, values people for what they are, not how they look. That's all. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned more learnings from my discussion. God bless us all. Once again, good day.